Stop looking at Amazon. Close that Apple Store tab on your browser. Seriously, put your credit card away right now. If you're even thinking about buying an Apple TV today, you are about to make a mistake you will regret for the next 5 years. That sounds dramatic, I know, but hear me out. This isn't one of those situations where a new model comes out with a slightly faster chip or a new remote color and you feel mild annoyance. This is one of those rare moments where buying now locks you into the past, while waiting puts you squarely in the future. The gap between those two experiences is about to be bigger than anything Apple has done with the Apple TV in over a decade. I know exactly how this urge starts. You look at your entertainment setup, and everything feels fine. The TV still looks good. The speakers still work. That little black box sitting under or behind your television still boots up. It still plays Netflix. It still lets you scroll endlessly through YouTube at night. Maybe you have the 2021 model, or maybe you upgraded to the 2022 Apple TV 4K, thinking it would last forever. On paper, it still does its job, but emotionally it feels old. It feels like it hasn't moved while everything else around it has. 4 years now, people have been asking the same question in forums, comment sections, and Reddit threads. Is Apple done with the living room? For a long time, it really felt like the answer was yes. 4 years went by with zero meaningful hardware updates. For full years. In Apple time, that is an eternity. That drought became the longest gap in the entire history of the Apple TV product line. While Apple stayed completely silent, Amazon was pumping out new Fire TV sticks like clockwork, adding features, tweaking designs, and undercutting everyone on price. Google tore down and rebuilt Chromecast into something completely different. Roku kept iterating quietly but consistently. And Apple? Nothing. No thesis. No leaks worth taking seriously. No events. Just silence. That silence was frustrating, especially for people who have bought into Apple's ecosystem. It started to feel personal, like Apple had simply forgotten the people who wanted a premium living room experience. The Apple TV felt like an afterthought, a hobby product that existed only to keep services revenue flowing. Many people assumed the team had been dissolved or reassigned, that the box itself was basically on life support. But that assumption turns out to be completely wrong. Today, that long silence finally makes sense because we now know Apple wasn't idle. They were waiting, and more importantly, they were building. Trust me when I say this, Apple did not forget about the Apple TV. They were deliberately holding back because they are preparing a device that is going to make your current model feel like a toy. Not in a menus load faster kind of way, but in a foundational, architectural way. This isn't a spec bump. This isn't a minor refresh. What we are seeing is a full strategy shift in how Apple thinks about the living room and the smart home as a whole. The leaks are out. The internal timelines are lining up. And there is one major hardware decision coming that is going to split the audience straight down the middle. Some people are going to love it. Others are going to be furious. But before we get there, we need to talk about timing because the date explains everything. Originally, insiders were confident this new Apple TV would launch in late 2025. That narrative stuck for a long time. So when 2025 came and went with nothing but silence, concerns started to creep in again. People assumed delays, supply chain issues, or internal indecision. But the updated roadmap paints a much smarter picture. The launch has been pushed to spring 2026, with March or April now looking like the real target window. This wasn't a failure. It was a calculated move. Apple is aligning this hardware launch perfectly with tvOS 26.4. Normally, a 0.4 update would be boring. Bug fixes, security patches, maybe a small UI tweak if you're lucky. But this time is different. tvOS 26.4 is the update that fully unlocks Apple Intelligence for the home. The software is the star here, not just the box itself. Apple simply could not release the new hardware earlier because the brain wasn't ready. And to run that brain locally, they had to make a bold decision with the processor. According to leaked code and internal references, the next Apple TV 4K will run on the A17 Pro chip. Let that sink in for a second. This is the same chip that powered the iPhone 15 Pro. This is a chip designed for high-end smartphones capable of running console-quality games like Resident Evil and Assassin's Creed. A chip with hardware-accelerated ray tracing. On paper, this makes no sense. If all you do is stream movies and shows, this level of power is absurd overkill. You would be right to question it. But Apple is not putting the A17 Pro in the Apple TV for Netflix or YouTube. They are putting it there for Siri. Let's be honest, Siri on the Apple TV today is not great. It is functional at best. It can find a movie if you say the exact title. It can pause and play, but it doesn't think. It doesn't understand context. It doesn't feel intelligent. The A17 Pro is the minimum requirement to run Apple's new large language models locally on the device. Locally is the key word here. Local processing means your Apple TV becomes a thinking machine inside your home, not just a thin client sending your voice to a server somewhere else. This is what transforms it from a dumb streaming box into the central server of your entire house. It understands who is speaking. It understands intent. It can manage complex, smart home automations that would completely overwhelm older processors. You won't just command it. You will converse with it. Imagine saying, Siri, I want a scary movie from the 90s, but nothing too violent because the kids are still awake. Old Siri would choke on that sentence. New Siri understands nuance. It checks genres, release dates, ratings, and content warnings. It gives you a curated list that actually makes sense. This is the kind of experience Apple has been teasing with its AI messaging, and your current Apple TV simply cannot do it. If you want the real Apple Intelligence experience in the living room, your old model becomes obsolete overnight. Of course, raw power doesn't mean much if the device still feels clunky to use. That is where the second, quieter upgrade comes in. And honestly, it might be the unsung hero of the entire update. The new Apple TV includes the N1 chip, a connectivity-focused chip first spotted in iPhone 17 leaks. Its entire purpose is to manage communication between your devices. We have all experienced the friction. You try to type a password on your TV using your iPhone keyboard, and the notification never shows up. You wait. You tap your phone. Nothing happens. Or you try to AirPlay a video to show friends, and it stutters, disconnects, or drops quality halfway through. It is awkward and annoying. The N1 chip is designed to eliminate that friction entirely. Device handshakes become instant. Wi-Fi stability improvis dramatically. Thread-based smart home devices become rock solid. Everything just snaps together the way Apple products are supposed to. Visually, there's also a meaningful upgrade coming. The new Apple TV will support Dolby Vision 2, bringing richer colors, better highlight control, and deeper blacks. If you own a high-end OLED television, this isn't a small improvement. It is the kind of thing you notice immediately, especially in darker scenes and high-contrast content. Now, we get to the controversial part, the design. For years, the Apple TV has been a boring black square. You hide it in a cabinet and forget it exists. That may change. Bloomberg reports Apple is testing a model with a built-in camera. Yes, a camera in your living room pointed at you. The privacy concerns are real, and anyone pretending otherwise is lying. A camera in the living room feels invasive by default. But from Apple's perspective, it solves real problems. FaceTime on Apple TV right now is awkward. You prop your phone up against something or hold it until your arm gets tired. A built-in camera with center stage framing makes video calls effortless. And it doesn't stop there. Pair a camera with the A17 Pro, and suddenly gesture control becomes possible. You could skip a song with a flick of your wrist. Pause a movie with a raised hand. No remote. No couch diving. For fitness, this becomes even more powerful. Apple Fitness Plus could track your form in real time, correcting posture and movement. Your TV becomes a personal trainer. This is a risky move because it changes what the Apple TV is. It stops being invisible and starts being a presence. Whether this camera ends up on the base model or a more expensive Pro version is still unclear. But the fact at Apple is testing it tells you everything about their ambition. They want a TV to watch you as much as you watch it. That is a fundamental shift in how we interact with screens. So, here is the bottom line. If you're thinking about buying an Apple TV today, don't. The 2022 model is fine, but it is a product of the past. It is a dumb streamer in a world moving rapidly toward AI-driven experiences. The 2026 Apple TV 4K is the bridge to what comes next. With the A17 Pro, the N1 chip, Dolby Vision 2, and the potential for a camera-based interface, this is the biggest leap Apple has made in the living room in 10 years. You're going to spend roughly the same amount of money either way. You might as well buy the device that will still feel modern a decade from now, instead of one that is already aging internally. March 2026 is the date to mark on your calendar. It is worth the wait. In my opinion, this product isn't just an upgrade. It is Apple finally taking the smart home label seriously. The addition of the N1 chip and local AI processing fixes the biggest complaint about smart homes today. They're too dumb and too slow. If Apple can pull off the camera integration without making it feel creepy, they might just win the living room war once and for all. But that is a big if. And the real question is simple. If Apple adds a camera to this thing, are you in? Or does that cross a line for you? That debate is going to define the tech conversation next year. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you liked the video, subscribe, share the video, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next update.